This video, as per titled, or live stream, is anyone can draw, or you can draw. Because it is true that anyone can draw. Now, are we all going to draw differently? Are we all going to have different aspects to said drawing that make us unique? 100%. It's like a thumbprint. Every single human has a different thumbprint, unless you're genetically cloned or something. And hello, gaming with Seaman. Right, so anyone can draw, right? I get a lot of people asking. I'm good, thank you for asking. I get a lot of people saying that they can't draw, or they suck at drawing, or I wish I could draw. And I just say to them, you can. Like, it's as simple as you can draw. And each human is going to have their own drawing. For example, I can't draw like you can draw. I can't paint like Van Gogh, right? But on the other hand, Van Gogh can't paint like me, right? It's not that I'm better or he's better. That isn't a aspect you should dwell on. It's just sitting down, pen in hand, and just enjoying it for its therapeutic value, or for whatever value. I am in Australia. Thank you for asking. So I'm not using anything fancy. I'm not using a lot of material. This is a standard notebook and just a normal ballpoint pen, right? You don't need expensive tools or anything shiny, right? It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it. Right? I have no clue where this is going to go. Right now, it kind of looks like a little bit of a face. Is it going to be a human face? Maybe. Is it going to be I don't know. Could be a monk. Could be some sort of elf. I haven't done his ears yet. Could be an elf. Who knows? Right, I'm not setting examples of pre-planned ideas. Because if you have a pre-planned expectation of what you want to draw, and you don't meet that required expectation, you're going to be a little bit more disheartened in the result. Just as nature of expectation levels being too high. Be okay with drawing something that you're not super happy with at first. That is okay. I'm not using a lot of ink at a time. One thing you should focus on is eyes. You know, there are parts that you should care about. And also parts that there's no rule. You can go crazy on the eyes, I'm sure it'll look fine. it's also, no one can say that your art is wrong or that your art is bad. Your art is your art, right? It exists. It is there. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just what it is. Sure, you could be aware of the techniques that you used or the experience that you've put in, but does that make your art better? Did you learn from that experience? Hello again, Katrina. Good to see you. So creating different frames of mind when creating a drawing. Well, a lot of artists are very self-critical. You know, they compare. And as soon as you compare with someone else, you've already lost the battle. Right? You're already judging yourself for whatever reason. For good or worse. You can use people as motivation. Compare yourself to their work and be, wow, that is very impressive. I'm very motivated by this artist. But to say that you're not as good or worse than, it comes back to the previous topic. You can't be good or bad. You just simply are. The art is simply just there. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just your art. It's just what you made. I could throw, I don't know, anything that I have around at this piece of paper. Sticky tape something on this piece of paper. Tear it in half and be like, this is no good. Or I could tear it in half, throw something in the paper, and leave it there and say, this is the best thing in the world. Alright? It doesn't really matter what you create, it's how you think about your creation. Or the frame of mind that you come into the creation with. I mean, like, these ideas are pretty well-known ideas. It's not like anything I'm saying is revolutionary in any concept. Like, the Tao Te Ching is very much like this. You know, there's following that middle path. You know, it's kind of like music, right? Is a piece of music better if it's fast or slow? You tell me. If I finish a piece of music in 3 minutes and the next person plays the same piece of music in 30 seconds, is it good or worse? You tell me. If I have a piece of music on vinyl or sitting there in a USB, not being listened to, is it good or worse? Or is it best when it's actually being played? Right? It's the experience of the music, it's not the physical aspect of the music, it's the creation of the music. Am I drawing? You tell me. Don't mean to say that in a rude sense, but what do you think? What's your ideas on what I'm drawing? to me, they just kind of look like eyes. It's kind of like a mouth, ears. What are your thoughts? And honestly, I'd be pretty happy with this. Like, if I stopped here and made a coffee or, went for a walk, I'd be pretty happy. Like, I don't need to spend hours in a project. But for the sake of today, I think I'm just going to work on this one piece for however long I do. It may change, it may turn into something I like more, it may turn into something I like less. But I think today we're going to go a little bit longer on the same piece. If you're wondering what I'm using a Bic ballpoint. You'll probably get these at the service station. Yeah, it kind of does look like a face. That's kind of what I was going for. But I mean, if you said it looked like a dog, I wouldn't say no. I'd be like, okay, cool. If you see a dog and you benefited more from seeing that dog, cool. Like, if you had a pleasurable experience seeing a dog or seeing a giraffe, I'm all for it. It can be a potato. And the cool thing with 4-point pen is it comes on very light. So the longer you do it, the more the highlights and structure of the face kind of expose themselves or reveal themselves. Like the musculature on the head or the darkness between the nose, between the eyes. And same goes for pencil as well. But you have the ability to erase. And I feel if you don't erase, you get a better understanding of the previous concept. And also the cool thing about drawing faces or drawing anything is that drawing biology especially, is everything is going to be asymmetrical, right? You're never going to find a person that has perfect symmetry. If you want to check out my other pictures, I have more videos or live streams of previous pictures, so you can just check them out if you want to look at previous stuff. I'm going to work on this for a little bit longer because I'm kind of in the mode of creation. was I talking about? Asymmetry? Yeah, all of biology is asymmetrical. The only thing that you see that is symmetrical are man-made things, like buildings, cranes, the footpath, cars. And they're good to study too, right? Don't neglect drawing things that are non-biological, right? Because then you get a good idea of those sorts of things, like having good line placement. But if you're drawing a face or anything that isn't from reference, a good thing to keep in mind is that nothing's symmetrical. The real world is always irregular. Like, when was the last time you saw a straight tree? You know what I mean? If you really look at the curvature, or really look at the tree, it's not perfectly straight. And also, if you know something's gonna have depth, you can fill it in with pretty much a lot of certainty, right? And know that there's gonna be no light escaping that area. If you guys want to really trip out over theory, you can have a look at like contours, like look up inking contours. That's like an endless hole of learning how to draw. Like, there's so much depth to that concept. It's insane. Like seeing how lines wrap around, like a cylinder, and then applying that to a face, or applying that to something in the environment they're drawing. But yeah, it's cool to like kick out over theory, you know, if you're really into it. But nothing beats just, you know, doing the skill. It's like I can learn as much as I want about running, but if I don't run, I'm not really going to get much better at running. Like, I'm not going to get the benefits of running. thoughts and feelings. And also, I didn't realize the tremendous benefit you get from recording your work. Like, if you just throw away your books, well, a great way to record your work is to take photos of them and store them somewhere, film them, right? But if you just get rid of it, sure, there's a bit of beauty in that, like sand art or works in nature, but if you have a look back at your old work, it's very encouraging, it's very rewarding to learn the things that you're doing better or what you've worked on that is what you've worked on that has worked. I heard someone talk about it as a diary entry. Like, it's just like a non-written diary entry. Like, I could write on it, sure. But just having it as that in thought makes it less confronting to do as a task. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just doing a little diary entry. Like, no one has to see this if I don't want to. And then it makes it even more rewarding when people do ask, and it's like, oh yeah, of course. I think I'll do another 5 minutes of this drawing, and then I'll call it. I think it's a good thing to do as well, is to put an end point on the creation. Like, you gotta realize when it's done. You know, if you've been working on a project for a long time, weeks, days, month, is it more beneficial to nitpick that pace for that long? Or should you just make another one? Put that one in the bank. You can come to it later. So if I'm doing something for longer than half an hour, which is quite rare, yeah, it's good to have a look at what. Is there something else I could be doing? Do I need to drink water? You know, do essential things? Because it can be a form of escape as well that you don't want to fall into the trap of. I mean, at this point, I'm not even seeing the changes that's going on with the drawing. It's so fundamentally there that I'm just going back over pieces that probably could use some more depth. That I wouldn't be upset with being a little bit darker. And since the whole point then isn't putting a lot of ink on, it doesn't matter that much if I go over a spot that has already been. The outsides of a project can always be a little bit, they can be a little bit darker. Or the chin here can be a little bit darker. Like, you don't necessarily have to think about the task and narrate every single piece of the process. Hello, Hannah. How are you? I've been talking pretty consistently, honestly. Although I'm slow to speak sometimes. It's more of a delicate arrival. The borders can always be outlined, so if you're in a piece where there's lots of edges, it's almost better. Or at least I enjoy the depth. And it doesn't really matter the placement of the lines, because there's already so much on the page. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with this and how it turned out. Sure, could it be better? Sure. Could I spend more time with it? Would it have made it better? Maybe. Doesn't really matter that much. If you enjoyed or joined along, thank you. Share what you've made. I'd love to see. And yeah. Enjoy.